Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Shoaib Ahmed. This is a second video in this series how to select PhD research area or PhD research topic. So in this video I would let you know how to select PhD area in the literary narratives developed on politics, diplomacy, power and war. Though you would have read a lot in your master in the 2 years, you would have read from Chaucer to postmodernism or postmodernism or metamodernism, and you have read literary theory and literary criticism, or you would have read about post theory. You have read many things in your master, but even after that, it is not easy to select PhD topic. It's a very different journey. It's a very different area. It's a very different uh, approach to select PhD topic because your topic must be new, that must be relevant, related to the contemporary political, social, cultural, or aesthetic or literary scenario, so that you should not face any issue when you would submit your thesis. That must be original, and you should have at least less than 10% plagiarism in your thesis. That is, these are the important thing that you should keep in your mind while you select your PhD area or PhD topic. So today I am going to suggest you new PhD area or the emerging PhD area that has not been explored much in the South Asia or mainly in India or in other countries. Only two countries or the scholars from the two countries have explored this area, and they are from Italy and Turkey. The Turkish scholar and Italian scholars have explored this area. So this area is, I have written on the board, this is literary narratives on politics, diplomacy, power and war. So the first question is, what is politics? Politics means struggle. Politics means struggle between two opposite things, two objects. Where there is a struggle, there is a politics. So politics means the struggle between two objects. That can be the struggle between two countries, two nations, two people, two race, two caste, two ethnicity, two cultures, two traditions, two religion, or two histories. This is what the politics is. This is the best definition of politics. Though political science as a subject, that's a different thing. Political science is a study of state, political science is a study of government, political science is a study of democracy, sovereignty, forms of government. But politics means the struggle between the two object that is in the society, that exists in society. Even Plato has written once, even if one locks oneself in a room, that is also a politics. If one separates oneself from society and lives alone in a locked room, that is also a politics. And you can have that in Jane Eyre's Mad Women in the Attic. So प्लेटो ने कहा है कि यदि कोई व्यक्ति अपने आप को अकेले बंद कमरे में समाज से विहीन होकर के बंद कर लेता है, वो भी एक पॉलिटिक्स है. सो पॉलिटिक्स इज एवरीवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड, एवरीवेयर वी हैव पॉलिटिक्स. And diplomacy, the second key term is diplomacy. Diplomacy is an art. Diplomacy is an art to deal with the situation, to deal with any situation skillfully to make balance. But the diplomacy is mainly used in the foreign policies, in international relations. So here, the diplomacy means how to make good relationship or peaceful relationship between the societies, between the countries globally. It's to deal with the countries. It's to make the good relationship without having any issue, any obstacle, any problem, any any problematic issue. That is the diplomacy. And power is a domination. Power is a kind of domination through which, by which we dominate. One dominates the other. That is power. And Derrida and Foucault has written about the power. What is power? The meaning of power. How power operates in the society. And to understand the power, I would suggest you the Theorists that you have to read in the end of my lecture. So the topic, how would you select the topic from this emerging area? So this is a new area. This is the emerging area. If you would select your PhD topic from this area, I am sure you would not face any issue when you would submit your thesis. Because in India, there is a huge scope to explore this emerging area, the narratives developed on politics, diplomacy, power and war, and cultural alienation. These are the emerging issues in the contemporary time in South Asia, in India. So the theorist that you can use, number one, Georgio Agamben. He talks about politics. He talks about event. Alian Badiou, who talks about revolution. Georgio Agamben, Alian Badiou, Slavoj Zizek, Peter Sloterdijk, Ajaz Ahmed, Edward Said, Homike Bhabha. These are the theorists you can use when you would develop your thesis on this area, on the narratives of politics, narratives of war in the contemporary time. And Edward Said was the first who systematically developed the concept of Orientalism in his book Orientalism, that published in 1978. That was the first book, and still that book is dominating. Even after 30 years, that book is still dominating the literary narratives, the political science, the sociology, and literary studies. It is read in the department of Urdu, in the department of Hindi, in the department of English, in the department of other literary studies. So this is one of the best book in terms of the politics and narratives of politics, because Edward Said in this book scratches the skin of the West and tests their blood in terms of culture, in terms of history, in terms of narration, in terms of civilization. Then what is the difference between you and us? The equation of us and other mentality, the exotic other. Now the important writers that you can take, the literary writers that you can select to write your PhD, you have to read. Number one, Naila Ali Khan. She was born in India, New Delhi, and she has Kashmiri background. And she wrote about the issue of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. She wrote about the political issues, cultural issues, and social issues in Jammu and Kashmir. She wrote about political strife, cultural strife, and the tension that exist in the Kashmir. She wrote about Kashmir and Kashmiri people, the Kashmiri issues. Naila Ali Khan. Shahidul Zahir. The second writer is Shahidul Zahir. He is from Bangladesh. He is writing. He completed his master in political science and he wrote political fiction. He mainly developed his fictional world by using the literary technique magic realism, like Gabriel Garcia Marquez, like Mohsin Hamid. Magic realism. He wrote political fiction. He wrote about cultural debate, cultural alienation, political differences, political problem in Bangladesh. He wrote political fiction, the political issues, the cultural issues. He wrote about conflict, poverty, unemployment, war, violence in terms of language, culture, race, ethnicity in Bangladesh. Another writer is Parveen Shakir. She is a very, very prolific writer, Parveen Shakir. She's a wonderful writer, Parveen Shakir. You can explore the politics in her writings, aesthetics in her writings, contemporary situation of Pakistan in her writings, though she died very early. Parveen Shakir. You can explore Zadie Smith. She also talks about gender war, concept of gender, ethnicity, politics, and power. You can explore the writings of Mohsin Hamid, Kamila Shamsi. Mohsin Hamid and Kamila Shamsi both wrote about political questions. They raised the political questions in their writings. They raise the political issues, the issues of language, culture, religion, across the world in terms of Muslim identity, xenophobia, Islamophobia, terrorism. They have brought these issues on the literary map of the world. So they wrote about the contemporary politics, contemporary political situation, the diplomatic situations, contemporary diplomatic situation. You can take Derriofoe. He also wrote about politics, student protest, question of poverty, inflation, question of demand and supply, aggregate demand and aggregate supply, national income in his writings. He's a Marxist writer. He's a contemporary Marxist writer who wrote about the contemporary political, social, cultural issues existed in the Italy. So he's a very prolific writer in terms of politics. So these are some of the writers you can take for your PhD, and you can explore these writers in your thesis. And this is an emerging area that has not been much explored in the South Asian in South Asia or in South Asian literary departments. And this area is amalgamation of sociology, political science, history, culture studies, gender studies, folk studies, because you can also explore the folk narratives from the perspective of politics, from the perspective of power, from the perspective of diplomacy. So if you are struggling to select PhD topic, you can kindly subscribe my channel to stay updated with my latest content. All the best. Thank you.